I'd like to call the Finance Audit Tendering and Administration Committee meeting to order Wednesday, October 8th, 12 noon. Parkdale Room, City Hall. Order of business, this is an open session. Number one, call to order. We're good on that. And yeah, by the way, for record purposes, we have Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff calling in, and the other committee member, Terry Bernard, is not online, but plans to perhaps call in the the next little bit. In any event, we have quorum, and we're going to advance with the meeting agenda that we have before us. So, as again, a call to order. Number two is declarations of conflict of interest. Are there any? Not seeing any. And number three then is approval of the agenda we have in front of us here today. Moved by Mayor Brown and seconded by.
Seconded.
Thank you. All right, so number four, approval of the previous draft minutes of September 17th, 2025 that has been circulated in this package. Upon review of those draft minutes of September 17th, do I have approval? Moved by Mayor Brown, seconded by Deputy Mayor Yankoff. Thank you. So we have approval of those minutes. Moving to number five, business arising from the minutes. Is there business arising from those September 17th minutes?
Yes, Mr. Chair, just want to follow up on, I think it came under the Canada Community Building Fund. Another fund that is the SHIF, Canadian Housing Accelerator Fund. And I know we made application for two projects, Spencer Drive and, was there another one? I did ask if we could look at I know I've asked in the past, the proposed development on the corner of Queen, King, Queen and Dorchester, the Evans project. Are we able to do that? I just wanna find out did we reach out to the administrator, manager of SHIP or office of SHIP to ask? If that's,
We have not done that yet, Your Worship, but we could explore that, like, whatever, the challenges, as you know, Chair and Your Worship, that, council is, supporting development through not charging development fees. And so the other side of that edge is that developers are, have to find money for their development and infrastructure projects. It's, but we can certainly explore, we encourage development, especially in our downtown core, and we can explore the options.
right. So I, Mr. Chair, I just came back from the CCCO annual meeting, Canadian Capital Cities Organizations Conference annual meeting. And speaking to two councillors from Halifax, City of Halifax, the province of Nova Scotia has declared all of Halifax as a special planning area. So if you want to look at a contrast would be 15 Park Street was designated by the province of Prince Edward Island as a special planning area. So applicable zoning development bylaws, applicable municipal zoning development bylaws don't apply. But they did freeze development fees under that special planning area. The province has frozen any development fees in the city of Halifax going forward. And I understand what our CAO has said, but this project does include housing. And it does include office, and it does include commercial space. So is there any wiggle room around? And this is definitely a density issue, this is address that whole intensification of density in our corridor or downtown areas. So I think, if we could just look at the possibility of that program, SHIF, Canadian Housing Infrastructure Fund, is applicable to a project such as this.
We can certainly take that back and explore what the opportunities are. Ultimately, that fund in particular is largely weighted on the number of residential units being delivered as part of any investment. We're not aware of what the final numbers would be for that proposed development, but ultimately, any decision on the funding being considered would be from my understanding, would be weighted quite heavily on how many residential units are being delivered as part of the project overall.
Okay.
I guess more broadly, if council wants to consider an option to participate in funding infrastructure projects to subsidize private development, then staff can look at a policy to explore that in the future.
But if I think SHIF, did we not use Spencer Drive as an application under that program, SHIF?
That, to my understanding, that's one of the applications, maybe the only application that's in at this point in time, with the understanding being that there would be a cost share arrangement where any federal funding that we're able to secure in partnership with the federal government and the province would be cost shared with the private developers that would be benefiting from that new infrastructure that goes in.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't know it was based on numbers because increasing your densification is part of the provincial or the federal government's big plan to have more housing in municipalities, big, small, and villages and so forth. But Mr. Chair, just speaking to members from the Fredericton City Council on their 8 initiatives under HAF, the Housing Accelerator Fund, the as of right 4 units, they massage their as of right for 4 units by stating that you can't tear down the existing building structure. You have to build on the existing structure. So that's a secondary apartment, an ADU, and it could be a suite over the garage, an auxiliary, or if there's a garage. So that's 4 units. So I asked the counselor who was with the planning, Standing Committee for Planning, Development and Heritage, have you received any acceptance? No, CMHC is still looking at it. So SHIF could be the same way. It's a federal program. We can try to see if we can get something from that program because it's again addressing housing, increasing density in a downtown area. It's about building up downtown cores. I think check off a lot of the box. So I just want to leave that with our Director of Integrated Growth and the CEO. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that concludes number 5, business arising from the minutes, so we'll go right into number 6, discussions, reports. We have 6A, B, and C. So let's start with 6A. I guess a report for a fast rescue craft funding request. Tim Mamie, Fire Chief, has, I guess, put together information on this. I see we have Kent Mitchell here that will probably be speaking to questions or discussion on this, so. You want to take it away, Kent?
Thank you, Chair. I will, yes. So the purpose of this report is to request capital budget funding increase to replace our inoperable fast rescue craft. The Charlottetown Fire Department is requesting additional funding from the 2024-25 capital budget for the purchase of a new replacement fast rescue craft. The currently approved budget of $100,000 was originally just for propulsion replacement for the existing craft, which would require an additional, for the new craft would require an additional $400,000 to bring the total to $500,000 for this purchase. For the past several years, we've been nursing our current vessel while dealing with propulsion and hull maintenance issues. This summer, during a boat course being provided by the Coast Guard, our vessel suffered damage to the inflatable hull that was deemed irreparable, requiring the removal of our vessel from water, and it has been at the surface since. This request for additional funding will allow for a new fast rescue craft tender to be posted in the coming weeks after proceeding through this committee. All proposals will be reviewed and scored by a team of department members and a recommendation made back through Protective Services Committee for a replacement craft purchase. Some history, council approved $100,000, the original 2024-25 capital budget for propulsion replacement, and previously approved the amount of $500,000 in 2023-24 capital budget, which was not used during the 2023-24 fiscal year. So that concludes my report, Chair.
Okay, and I guess I just want to confirm with our manager, finance manager, Elaine, that as the information says in front of us here, there are funds, I guess, still aside or unspent on as it relates to the 400 that's talked about here.
So, thank you, Chair. So the current budget for 25-26 has 100,000 provision for it. For the
25-26 or
for 25-26, yes. So as part of the 5-year plan, it's 25-26 that has 100,000, and then 500,000 slated for 26-27. So there was a provision to purchase a new craft, however, it was estimated to happen in 26-27 next year. So this request is to basically bring that money forward back into the current fiscal year to cover off their purchase and allow the funding for them to issue the tender. It has been an approved project in the past, as Kent would note. However, any of the unspent funding was carried forward. However, it was slated for next year versus the current fiscal year. So it does result in us requiring an additional 400,000 in capital funding. I did reach out to all the departments for an estimate on their capital expenditures for the existing fiscal year. I don't have all the departments in, but what I can see so far is that that we overall across the city we do have an underspend. And the next steps for me was to take that information forward to this committee and also address any budget transfers that have to take place, because we did identify approval for a couple of additional projects, namely one with respect to the police department. And how we brought forward to council was that we're asking for the additional money now, and then any savings we can identify from other projects, we would do a budget transfer to support that. So based on what I'm seeing right now, I wasn't in a position to provide the final update to committee, but based on what I'm seeing right now, we can accommodate that purchase within our total capital funding allocation for this year.
Kent, Chair, do you mind? Kent, is it true, I heard anecdotally that the rural fire departments have given federal funding for watercraft?
Yes, I'm not sure, CAO, about the actual details on that, but I heard those comments as well.
So initially, I had talked to Chief Mamie about this, and I did reach out to federal counterparts looking for follow-up and assistance on that, and I have not heard anything back, and this is, $400,000 additional of an ask to support a emergency service that largely is not even in our jurisdiction. And though we want to be responsible partners, I think it's important to exhaust all of that before we invest, and certainly I understand the importance of this, and it's not its only use, but primarily this craft has been used to support emergency services beyond our scope and mandate as a fire service, and why we inherit that responsibility because of our proximity to the water. That shouldn't, given, the tight fiscal restraints, shouldn't overshadow the pressure we must put on those same federal partners whose responsibility it is to support us being good partners and not do that blindly. And so I think we should, that's my 2 cents. I'm supportive of this initiative, but I'm more supportive of finding a cost sharing mechanism to move this forward.
So does that, if the committee was in agreement with your comments, does that perhaps indicate a deferral or a pause of some nature to exhaust those?
Could I ask, Mr. Chair, Kent, or Deputy Chief Kent, was this already vetted through the Standing Committee for Protective and Emergency Services?
Yes, it was.
So they greenlighted it already?
To come to this committee, yes. And the ask is to actually go to tender with it, so the final purchase and the acceptance of all that would have to go back to committee as well, so.
Right, but that's going without any federal funding, we're going on
Yes.
our own.
That's
Yeah,
right.
because I'm looking at last year's, the 24-25 budget.
Yeah.
Fast response craft, it was budgeted for 425,000, and now it's 500. Your estimate it's gonna be 500,000.
Yes, that's. We haven't gone for tender yet or anything. This is a pre-approval to actually do that. to allow
So
us to-
if we looked at other jurisdictions like Montreal,
Hopefully it won't cost us that.
Yeah.
Once we.
let's say we look at Montreal, Halifax, do they have a fast response craft for the city of Halifax?
Halifax does, yes.
They do.
If I could
Yeah,
just add context to that, Your Worship, Halifax, the municipality have jurisdiction and police and over their harbor and waterways within their region, so this is a different case here. Our jurisdiction ends at the high water mark of a scope of responsibility. And while certainly, again, in the spirit of this, understand that to be responsible partners, and this is life-saving type of equipment. I'm supportive of this, but this is a big piece of money too, and if we're, not only are we assuming additional costs, we're assuming additional liability. We're going outside our jurisdiction in a mutual aid type of thing, and that comes with risk and everything, and I think there should be some recognition and some financial support from the feds to, and I've communicated that to, and I just have not heard anything back.
so Mr. Chair, if we go to the 25-26 budget, for capital, you have $2 million for a new fire station design? That's in the budget? I thought
Yes.
Sabler already designed a fire station for us. Like, have we initiated that call out for a design?
Not yet, no. We're still in the process of looking for a site
Looking for what?
looking for a site for the fire station. Yes.
Okay. Well, I think what the CAO is saying that are there partners out there, right?
We're assuming responsibility and
Yeah.
risk that is primarily not ours, and we're doing it in the spirit of being strong partners. And a strong, we would, hope that the feds would be strong partners in helping us be good partners. And so that's kind of what the ask has been. This is really not our ball to carry, but because of our proximity to the waterway, there's become an inherited expectation that our emergency services will support activities in that area. We're just not getting funding to do it. And to me, that's not fair.
So CAO, did you also say then on this point that you have had discussions or exchanges, be it correspondence or whatever, and have not received a firm reply to that?
Yes, that's correct. I met with our local member of parliament and on a few issues, this kind of being one, looking for a way, some information that perhaps he could help us, support us in being that good partner, given that this is a good chunk of change and the fact that this is, the primary activities that associated to this fast rescue boat are largely outside our mandate and jurisdiction. So I will revisit that with him to see if he's made any moves there.
And to your comment, it's clear that you referenced the high water mark, like that's the extent or the boundary of the municipality's obligation, is it?
Yeah. Now, we do have a mutual aid responsibility, right? But that is for Charlottetown, because of our size and to our partners, often we are on the short end of that mutual aid. But this is a jurisdictional mandate thing. It's not our mandate to provide those services in that area.
So this vessel, this fast craft vessel, whatever you go with, is predominantly something that's in play during it's a seasonal sort of thing, right? Goes with the weather.
Traditionally, we've had a lot of calls in the off-season when there's really no other craft available.
Yeah.
That's sort of where we would fill in, and we do have other partners that have water rescue.
Anyway,
So could I ask, so the current fast response craft we have, I thought we were, again, you did say it in your background, we were to overhaul
Yes,
the mechanics and the operation of it. Was that ever initiated or just a decision was made, let's go with a new one?
so it did receive some damage during our training session back in, I think it was June, and it's beyond repair right now, so the boat is not fixable, basically. So,
I think that craft was purchased about 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was on council.
So this is to maintain the service we've had, but, I understand, it's not
Kent,
our primary
have we had
jurisdiction.
instance that their boat wasn't available?
Pardon me?
Have we had instance that we were called to that?
There's been some boat calls this summer, so we haven't been called to those, so other jurisdictions have responded. Yeah.
Other jurisdictions like the RCMP, Coast Guard,
Coast Guard, Crossroads Fire Department, so
and they have a
they have a.
fast response craft?
Yes, they do, yeah.
Was that federally funded?
I'm not sure, I can't.
Okay.
so I am at my element, so when you look at, when you mention Coast Guard, so if Coast Guard has this sort of craft,
But they did.
why are we even talking about it? Why?
Well, it's availability and seconds and minutes matter. That's the reality of it, and so we get catapulted into these situations just by necessity that, but it's really not our a ball to carry, and so I guess my point is reminding our federal counterparts of whose responsibility it is. And we're happy to play a role, a large supporting role. We just don't have the fiscal, it's not our fiscal, I don't think it's our, without fiscal support, I don't know how it's sustainable.
So then does it, to me, on the surface, it may make some sense, so correct me if I'm wrong, is that in conjunction with yourself, CAO and the leadership of fire department that this continue to be kind of confirmed on possible funding piece and
It is my understanding, I certainly can't point to an actual funding line, but it's my understanding that many rural fire departments have received funding federally, for support of watercraft and water support. And I guess my point is that Charlottetown, given the expectation and thing, why aren't we included in that? If we were expected to do that, and
it seems to me a fair question unless.
And not only that, Mr. Chair, it's not only the purchase of the capital asset, it's also the personnel that operate that craft. Just no Joe or Mary Jean can just hop on and flicker on and let's go do some rescue work.
well, this does not, the costs associated with this type of service are beyond dollars. As Ken will tell you, that a lot of times these are recoveries that come with trauma to our first responders, and very, like, the burden of this is far more than the dollars. And to me, there has to be recognition of that and support federally.
Can I say one more point, Chair? Just on the Coast Guard coverage, the inshore coverage is only for a few months of the year and basically the summer season. So right now, there wouldn't be any Coast Guard coverage.
So, Mr. Chair, we've looked at other communities on the island. Summerside, do they have a fast response craft with the Summerside Police Service?
I can't comment on that.
They have a harbor, right?
Yes, yeah.
Georgetown, RCMP, do they have one?
The Georgetown Fire Department has one.
They do?
Yeah.
And is it fully 100% paid by the Georgetown Fire Department, or is it provincial funding, is there federal
Again,
funding?
I can't speak to Georgetown specifically, but my understanding that rural fire departments have been given funding for that type of service.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I would like, I would put a resolution by, if the deputy mayor would second it, just to get more information. I think this is the objective of standing committees working outside the silos, is that one may recommend and we may say, let's get more information. That's all part of governing, so I would ask to put this on deferral and get more information. Like, I'd like to find out, is Halifax solely responsible for all their waterways and that harbor? Just, is it not a shared responsibility? Quebec City's on the St. Lawrence. You're telling me the Quebec City Police take care of that waterway along with Montreal? I know they're bigger jurisdictions, but it's water all around them or water on their borders as it is in Quebec.
I would support the mayor's deferral. I would definitely second that. And just to dovetail on what CAO McConnell said, Halifax is very different. They actually have designated responsibilities for the harbor. So I think that a deferral is a smart move to make. So I would second his worship.
Okay, thank you. Okay. We good on that? Okay. So, 6B, report on the procurement bylaw draft. Lane Pino.
Chair?
Yep,
Can I speak before that starts?
yep.
Okay, so I'm just wondering, now that we have passed in our procedural bylaw, our ability to do more of these committee of a whole, I'm wondering if I could ask committee if this procurement bylaw and policy would fit perfectly into more so instead of doing a presentation here and then repeating again at council, us just moving this directly onto a committee of a whole meeting. Because I know for me alone, I sent along on Monday 20 questions. And I know for today with my time constraint, I have to hang up by 12:45. And I just wondered what committee's thoughts were, whether or not we should just move this right along to a committee of a whole. And I guess I'll ask the chair through to his worship.
Yeah, so if we want to move this to a committee of the whole, we can have a committee of the whole meeting on a regular monthly meeting, at a regular monthly meeting in October. Like, we can go into the committee of the whole
Sure.
after the regular monthly meeting.
So.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't mean it had to be a special meeting. I just meant that instead of hearing it twice, we could all hear it together in real time is all I meant. Whatever works best for everyone.
Yeah, I think what you're requesting, Deputy, and that's what you're saying, Mayor Brown, is just put it on the regular council meeting as an
Well, the
agenda.
committee of the whole is an open meeting. It's an open meeting, so yeah, I would have this on the regular monthly meeting.
Deputy, or sorry, not deputy, but CAO, what's your thought on that?
Chair, I'm okay with that. I'll make sure that the appropriate staff are there to support the questions.
It may cut down on redundancy and you know, and what have you, give everybody a little more time and
But just, again, the purpose of standing committees is to flush out some of the questions that the deputy has that may not have to be repeated at a committee of the whole or a meeting of council. I do have questions and I know the deputy is stretched for time. It's too bad we couldn't get a hold of Councillor Bernard to see if he can come in on this meeting so we can keep
He
quorum.
was speaking to you, I believe.
yeah, I haven't heard as well. And I'm not beyond to what you're saying, your worship,
Yeah,
if we can have some discussion here with
yeah,
what we have at committee, I'm okay with that too. With the understanding that it'll go,
it'll go to a full discussion at
yeah, but if we can
regular
have,
monthly meeting, or we can follow that with the committee of the whole to discuss it more openly and thoroughly.
yeah, just shout out, Councillor Bernard, you're not online, are you?
He's not on the call.
No.
It's just that we've been knocking this issue around for the last 6 years. And I wanna thank Lane and the Department of Finance for getting to this point. But I'd like to ask,
Hello?
the
Yeah, I
original,
don't.
the original policy, is that part of her
Okay.
package? I couldn't find it.
Okay, great, good.
Should have been, yeah.
It should be, okay.
Terry's gonna call in about 3 minutes, so we can continue on.
Yeah, can you just stay with us, deputy?
Deputy,
I can stay until 12:45, and I did send along 20 questions on Monday,
Good.
as well as 4 comments to go with those. So those could, Lane could review those and do what he needs to with those. But sure, if Terry can call in by 12:45, that would be amazing.
he'll call in the next 5 minutes. Manager Pino wants to say something,
Just-
Deputy?
Just to address the deputy's question comment, so I have reviewed those. I also received questions from Councillor Matart, so my intent is I have some of those responses drafted. I'm gonna send those back around to council, so everyone has the same list of questions and it may defer or may eliminate some
Yeah,
repeat
yeah,
questions
yeah.
into the future. So you should see those later today or tomorrow.
Thank you, Lane, and Deputy, that's fine. So with that, Deputy, not to, so is there anything else you
Yeah,
want,
yeah,
the deputies there?
Yeah, I'm just looking here.
Hey, thank you, Joshua. I appreciate it, buddy. Bye-bye.
Hey, Terry,
That's
welcome.
Terry, yep.
So,
Just talking about the draft
Hello?
procurement bylaw and facilitating, we're having a little discussion here today, but advancing it onto a committee of the whole thing.
Mr. Chair, just, Nancy, I'm looking
Yes.
through the bookmarks. It
Should
has
be-
draft 2000.
Should be 6B3.
No, I'm
No, that's-
sorry.
That's the new one.
Your worship,
Oh.
I'm
yeah,
looking for the original.
I don't have the original.
Can we get that original out to us, please?
Do you want that now, your worship? We can see if we can bring that up and print out copies.
It doesn't matter, because there will be a discussion at the regular monthly meeting, whether it's at the meeting itself or the committee of the whole right after. Is that all right, Mr. Chair?
Fine.
Okay. I have some questions about the policy or the bylaw, and I'm going down to section 5.1, section 5, subsection 515. So is this a new single source, means the use of a non-competitive procurement process to acquire goods or services from a specified supplier, even though there may be more than one supplier capable of delivering the same goods and services? Is that similar to invitational tender? Where you just identify 2 or 3 suppliers and send out?
It would be similar in this scenario. It's if the city went out to public tender and no one responded to the tender, then we would identify a vendor or a vendor who would provide the services that we're requiring and request for services
Okay.
or goods, depending on.
Okay. Chair, section 6, subsection 6.3.
You're on the policy, right?
No, I'm on the draft.
Bylaw.
Bylaw. Budget approval by council of operating and capital expenditures shall constitute authorization for purchase of goods, services, and construction necessary to carry out work within the approved cost of an approved project. So are we saying that after we pass our capital budget, operational budget, we will not see tenders coming back for purchasing 8 vehicles for the police department? Or purchasing 15 trucks for public works? Is that what it means?
If it's identified as an approved budget line, in that case, if it's part of the capital budget,
Right.
and we have the appropriate funding to fund that tender, then that's correct. It
So
would be
currently it goes to us.
correct.
Right. So this would sort of cut that off and go right to the supplier
Correct.
of the lowest tender or the winning tender. Okay.
And we should feel, if that's the case, then you have to think that council and committees are comfortable with
Doing that.
yeah, doing that and that, you know, what, how the bylaw operates and is gonna be policed and.
Okay. And then just section 6, subsection 6.5, it makes reference to section 11 of this bylaw. So section 11 is, okay, procurement approval. The summary of standard competitive procurement levels is outlined in the policy. So I've looked at the policy, which starts at page, where is it? Just 1 second. It starts on page 20. Is that right, Nancy?
I don't have it up, I'm sorry.
Okay. Just looking here, just 1 second.
It's page 24 of your electronic copy.
Okay, so, sorry, then I'm going back to definitions for the procurement bylaw.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so definition, section 1, subsection 1.15, low dollar procurement means the process for procuring goods and services valued under 10,000. What's the current value? Is it not 4 times 1,500? We were going by the POs. What's the current, where can you, just means the process procuring goods and services valued under 10,000 includes direct purchases. What's the current value?
So it's 10,000.
It is, so that's not changing.
In terms of low dollar procurement, no.
Okay, it's this, we had up to 10,000. Okay, didn't know that.
My
Sorry.
apologies. I should have the original policy document up. I believe there's a couple of thresholds there.
Yeah, I think there are.
$4,000 and $10,000. I'll bring that up here.
So it's going higher,
So
cause I think it was 4,000.
Yeah, 4,000 sounds correct. Just let me.
So under the policy, section 2, manager finance, the manager finance is responsible for overseeing all procurement and providing support, training, and guidance to employees as required. You will have you're looking at hiring a procurement officer,
Where that position will be in place on October 20th.
okay? And it says under section 2, subsection 2(1)(b), administration of the procurement process for goods and services and construction less than $50 and maintenance of records to support compliance with this policy. So now it's 25, isn't it?
Yes,
So you're raising to 50,000,
correct.
okay. Yeah, that's all I have for now.
Deputy Mayor, are you still there?
She's left.
Just, sorry, just
And I think
chair through
Yeah, go ahead.
to the mayor, that
Yes.
Mike just brought up the original policy there, and it was 4,000 in terms of, so between 4,000 and 25,000, the department can collect three quotes, 3 bids. And
That's
then
in the current
25,000 in the current policy.
So the new policy is anything above 10,000.
10,000. Yes.
Councilor Bernard, did you want to say something?
I did, but I mean, Lane just to finish it off there. I think the 4,000 was set a number of years ago.
Yeah.
Because of especially Public Works trying to get work done on vehicles and so on, and they didn't have permission to go over 2,000. So I think it was set up to $4,000 just to be able to get a number of trucks fixed quicker and so on. So the 10,000 to me makes a lot of sense for these times. I like what I see. I think staff did a very good job. I think just talking about if it's been already approved in the capital budget to spend, makes sense to me that so once the tendering and the procedures are done, that it's approved automatically. It can go right ahead. I believe I read where anything over 25,000 though would still come to council in the report. Is that correct? So for example, the example you were given earlier was, if somebody was buying 8 vehicles. That would still come back to council.
So through to the chair, through to Councillor Bernard, so I'll pull up the page reference in terms of the chart which summarizes in section 8 of the policy. So we're saying that anything above $100,000, it has to go to public consultation, RFP, RFQ, or tender. And
Right, yeah.
provided that it is budgeted, it would not have to go through council by resolution.
But it would be in the report. I thought that anything over 25,000 or whatever that number was, that it would be in the report of each committee that's purchasing. So for example, if it was Public Works in this case, it gets to be Fleet. So Fleet was purchasing eight vehicles. Would there not be a report in our package that would say that they completed the purchase of 8 vehicles? Here's what the cost was, and here's who the tender winner was.
I think I'll go back to check if there's any wording with respect to that, but I think the expectation is that you would still provide the reports for information through to the respective committees, which would be,
Yeah, that's what
form
I'm
part of
talking
the
about,
council package.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
So we're all clear?
There.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
this just expedites the process.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just another point there too, Chair, through to Councillor Bernard, is all this information will be included in the standard report that we present the Finance Committee anyway, as far as the list of tenders. And it would highlight in there, it would make confirmation that where they are in the process and confirmed if they're budgeted or not. And the unbudgeted ones, we expect to follow normal process and get council approval for it.
So, Mr. Chair, the only issue I have here is that if we're talking about buying local, supporting local, love local. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Lane, but I think the province, do they not have a clause that provides some kind of a cushion for local suppliers, local vendors, local contractors? I think if the lowest bid is within 10%, I think, that you would go to the local supplier, vendor, or professional looking for that service. Is that correct?
Yes, so Chair, through to the mayor, that is correct. There is a clause in the Procurement of Goods Act with the province.
I was looking for it, so can you tell me where it is? In the procurement bylaw or in the policy?
It's in the, within the actual, it's within the procurement policy.
Okay, so number,
But I thought Lane had said 5%.
It's 5%, correct. The
That's right, yeah.
the municipal, the federal or provincial legislation, the Procurement of Goods Act states that you can have a local preference clause up to 10%, provided that it's not in excess of the thresholds identified through free trade agreements, which is $33,000. With respect to our policy, the language we have in there is that it's a 5% local preference provision up to $25,000.
in the terms of the difference between the two bids? I'm just trying to get
In
clarification.
terms of the
tender.
cost, the tender, yes.
No,
So
go ahead.
if I got this correct, so when we're doing the scoring, what we're saying is we're giving points towards local and it's 5%?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, can I just do a simple one? So let's say if you get two bids, $1 million from company A out of Toronto. And then bid B is $1,005,000 from Charlottetown Company or an Island Company. Does it go to the Charlottetown Company at $1,500,000? $1,005,000.
Because it's within 5%?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to ask. Just doing simple math. Or is it just between that that 25,000? But that's something you do on your own. Because I think the province works on, there's a 5% or 10% differential between an island company and an outside and
Off the
company.
total tender number.
Yeah, that's my understanding. But I could be wrong.
But your 5% of $1 million is not $5,000.
No, it would be 5%, 50,000. 50,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not.
But my point is the value, is it the percentage on the value or is the percentage on a certain amount? Like 10,000 to 25,000? That's what I'm trying to find here.
When I read it, I take it as 5%.
So,
That's, I'm
So
just
whatever-
trying to get it
whatever the
clarified.
tender is.
yeah, bear with me, I'm sorry, I'm trying to look up the wording here as we have it.
Yeah,
You have
again,
that memorized, Lane.
So in 6.4, under
6.4, hold
under
on.
procurement methods, the language
Policy?
within the policy, yes. So in efforts to
Yeah.
support local business, the city will provide on purchases up to $25,000 a 5% scoring preference. So basically, as we go through an RFP or a quote for goods, we have matrix that we apply, right, in terms of scoring. And what this is saying is that we would add a 5% scoring bonus basically to the local business if they're bidding on this business on a good or a service. So, and that's, but
that's only
for
purchases
purchases
up
up to
to
25,000.
So the $1 million and the difference, the 5% on $1 million, $1 million 50,000. This doesn't apply.
It doesn't apply, no.
And does the province work that way too? Do they have it at 25,000?
So the province, the threshold is identified by the federal trade agreements is 33,000.
Is what?
33,000. So, and if I review, like we reviewed other jurisdictions here, so the town of Stratford, they provide on purchases up to 25,000 a 5% preference. The city of Summerside on purchases up to $15,000 a 5% preference, with a 2.5% preference to businesses located in Prince County.
So Lane, what's the highest we can go? 50,000 or 33,000?
So 33,000 is the highest if we're looking to match the current free trade agreement.
And we can't go higher.
Can't go higher.
Should we go there? Should we go to 33?
This was based on our review of the various jurisdictions, and 25,000 is the number we selected based on Stratford, municipalities, Nova Scotia. So that can be revised.
So,
I think if we're going, sorry, Chair, I think if we're going to adjust it, we might wanna align the language to stay, if we're gonna increase it to be aligned with the province, and we change the language to keep it there, as opposed to
So
falling behind the time.
So in the Procurement of Goods Act, it does that, it just references any thresholds identified within federal free trade agreements. And I did confirm with the province this morning that threshold is 33,000.
So to confirm, I don't know how you feel, CAO, what you're saying is you could be good with the 33, leave it at the 33, and our language stay that we're in sync with the province, you know, on that piece,
Yeah,
and that'd
That's
be
a good
my.
point.
At this rate, be
Councilor
adjusted.
Bernard,
I just got a question.
are you in agreement with that on the
I have
33?
a question, when you have a minute.
Go ahead.
So, Lane, a little earlier, you were explaining that it could go as high as 10%, but we went with 5%. And I'm assuming we went with 5% because the threshold is 33,000, so the 10% really wouldn't fit in. Is that correct?
So the justification for the 5% is just basically on our scan of other jurisdictions, namely Stratford.
But we were allowed, but you had mentioned earlier that we could go to 10%.
That's correct.
But if
That's,
you went to 10%, that would put you over the 33,000 threshold. Is that correct? Because they're 5% now, you're saying we've leveled it off at 25,000. So if you went 10%, you'd be over in some cases, I guess, to 33,000. Like what? I guess I'm trying to figure out, why would you pick 5%? If 10% is allowable, why would we pick 5?
I think it just because of the environmental scan, Terry, that they looked
That's
at
correct.
other jurisdictions and as a best practice. That's what the
So-
recommendation came from.
Yeah, so if we're talking, so, okay. I guess I'm wondering why we don't go 10 for local. That may be what other people are doing, but what is the reason we're not going to 10 if we're allowed to go to 10? I guess that's my question.
Well, it would add a 10% cost to the product, the service, if we go 10. This only adds 5, correct?
so it's only asking 5. And remember, this is the
No, it's not adding to anything. What we're saying here is that we'll give an advantage to local at 5%.
Yeah, no. Okay, so,
5 at 33 and not 25.
so,
Yeah, but I'm asking Lane, I'm not asking the mayor.
No,
I'm asking
no.
Lane.
but I'm just doing the math out loud. And if the product that, or service that we're buying from a local company is 5% within 5%, that most likely is higher, not lower. So you're paying an additional 5% instead of 10%. Is that correct, Lane?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
What you're doing is to keep it local, you're given that buffer of 5%. But I guess I'm asking is to keep it
Put it up to
local
10.
if we're allowed to go to 10. Is there a reason we're not looking at that other than cost?
So the wording, if I look at the Procurement of Goods Act by the province, it says where bid submissions are evaluated on price, a procuring entity may give preferential treatment under subsection 1 by reducing the local supplier's bid price by up to 10% for the purposes of evaluating the bid. So the 10% that's referenced in the Procurement of Goods Act is on the cost, where
Yeah.
our language is 5% on the actual scoring.
So Wayne, but so what's so is it threshold? Like for example, if we go back to what can I use for example? Asphalt, for example. If we go back to asphalt, and we have bids from New Brunswick and so on, and we know they're over $1 million. So does the 10% or 5% count on that, or is it just up to 33,000?
It's just up to the threshold identified of either 25,000, which we have in our draft, or 33,000, which is defined by the free trade agreement. It can't go any higher than 33,000.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
I think now when I'm looking at it, this is just for the scoring, right? And the province does it also. Is there 10% scoring? What did they put it on?
So
Well-
theirs is worded a little bit differently. It's 10% of the cost. So if you're looking at a pure good where you're just getting a price on a good, there's no service. If it's a mix of goods or services, in kind of how the language is drafted in our agreement is that if, let's say, if there's other components of the scoring matrix that, you know, with respect to experience and that make up 100% score, that we would add 5% to the scoring matrix for the sake of a local preference adjustment. Now, in the case of where we're talking about purchases of 25,000 to 33,000, it's mostly gonna be goods anyway for the most part, right? To just whether it's a purchase of a vehicle or specialized equipment or what have you. So there's a little bit of a different wording between what the province has, because the 10% is based on actual price, where we're saying in our draft language right now, it's 5% on
The scoring, yeah, but the low tender gets 15%. If you get low tender, my understanding, reading the tenders over the last number of years, it's 15%. That's what your scoring gets, you get, your low tender, you get 15%. So if the low tender, we get 5%, because otherwise we'd get 0, because we weren't low tender, correct? Like, I would like to put it on, I think that's what Councilor Bernard is saying, I'd like to put it on the cost instead of the scoring. Similar to what the province is doing.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Cause the scoring is
Scoring.
like figure skating, somewhat subjective maybe. It's like-
It is subjective, because it's being evaluated by CAO and another CAO. So, no, I put it on the cost.
I'm in agreement with that. Councilor Bernard?
We just lost Counselor Bernard.
He got what he wanted, he left.
Just give him a second, he may
Yeah.
call back in.
Keeps it,
Just one sec, so you get back on it.
There he is, yep. You got,
Yep,
you're back,
back
Terry?
I
Gary?
can help you, yeah.
we're, the mayor and myself are saying, or an agreement that put the 5% on the cost, not the scoring only.
10%.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. That's what I think it should be
Yeah.
too. That's a lot clearer and it's a lot,
Is that 10% with the province or 5%?
It's 10% with the province.
I'd equal the province, I'd go 10% the cost.
Up to 33.
That's all it is,
Correct.
yeah.
10 to
Yeah, I
33,
agree.
Terry?
I agree, yeah.
And it's on the
That's what
cost
I-
only, not the matrix.
No.
Okay, so you could,
Because that'd be
you
the
got
CAO,
that,
the CAO, the CAO.
Nancy?
I got it.
You are the record keeper, the words keeper.
Mr. Chair, other than that, Lane, I wanna thank you for getting it to this point. It's the long haul, and now we have something that we can check off the box. And it's amendable, policy is amendable, it doesn't have to go back to council, correct? Is the policy, the bylaw would have to go back, not the policy.
Just one comment, Lane, like on, just on, policy, clarifying, that, you know, HST, you know how we award things plus HST, can that be clearer that it HST included, or
Is there?
like it said, clarify the dollar figures, are they,
Within the language in the RFP, we make it clear, whether it's HST included or not. And, we are part of the priorities for the new procurement officer is to, review that we're actually gonna meet with the province, with procurement services staff there, and look to update our template so that the wording is standard and makes sense. And is consistent is the big thing across all of our tenders, and with that, and my experience with the province here too, the whole HST, whether it's in or it's out, always was a kind of a point of clarification that you had to talk through when evaluating bids, so we'll do our best to make sure the language is clear, for the sake of having the appropriate direction for the departments. I just wanna say first off, thanks to Ken Thompson
Oh, good, yes.
for his work on this, and so when I took it over, I consulted with Kent, it was in good shape, a lot of groundwork was done. And thanks as well to Cindy McMillan, our staff, for reviewing the information and really doing a good scrub of these documents to bring them forward. So truthfully, a lot of the heavy lifting was done before I picked up the file, but glad to see that we're getting it advanced.
thank you, and I think maybe even our CAOs in the background, I think too, supporting and seeing that everybody was coming together as a team on this and getting it to where it is, so Brett, if you were part of that in any way, great, and again, Lane, thank you for pointing out, the staff involvement, and I'd like to thank my committee for their input, so. With that said.
No, I think it is a really good policy. I mean, you read through it, and I think it will cut down time. Some discussions that we have in council that don't need to happen. I think if it's already approved in the budget, staff just follows the rules, and so this new bylaw, this new policy, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's good for the city, and I think it's good for council. And again, I just want to say thank you to staff too. It's a good job, and the policy looks like it's well written. So, thank you.
All right, okay, with all those platitudes, we'll go down to 6C, update on operational matters of interest. Lane, you can take us through that, please.
Sure, thank you, Chair. So I'll be brief. All of the information is included in terms of our standard reports on tendering and financial information. Just a couple of highlights. The year-end audit is progressing for fiscal year 24-25. As I noted at the last meeting or two, that we are going to be delayed in terms of providing our audited financial statements to the province. I'm going to be drafting a letter to the minister this week for the CAO signature to request the extension for those. And realistically, I'd aim for the end of November. We will be having a call with our auditors between today and tomorrow just to confirm our timelines and where we're at and what we need to do to finalize things there. So again, thanks to my staff for all their work on trying to move this forward and trying to respond to their queries as quickly as we can. There is a draft budget timeline for the 26-27 budget process. We're at that time of year again. You will note that Jessica had circulated a number of dates for some open houses with respect to collecting input from city residents for the budget for this year. So ask that you make note of those. It's gonna be for the weeks of October 20th and 27th. And there was a media release issued relative to that yesterday. The procurement officer posting, I'm happy to advise that Sherry McNeil was the successful applicant. Sherry has a lot of private sector procurement experience behind her, previously working with BioVectra. So we're pleased to have her on staff. She starts October 20th. And we just appointed Isaac Ua, the successful applicant for the assistant manager position, which he begins with the city on October 14th. Again, some good, strong background there. Isaac is originally from West Africa, where he worked with an electrical utility there. He's had some extensive experience in implementing financial systems, which is something that we need to look at with respect to where we are with our Great Plains system becoming end of life. So he's got some great experience there. As well as financial reporting and leadership. So very excited to have Isaac on board and having him start with us next week.
So-
And if
Question?
Question, Councilor Bernard?
I do, yeah.
Go ahead.
Blaine, I didn't see a schedule for moving ahead of the next budget. I'm kind of wondering, we've talked about it the last few years, and it'd be nice to see this done where we can get the capital out of the way and out the door. So staff, I mean, we're doing projects now. We're starting to see a lot of capital projects because by the time the budget's approved and then by the time they go out to tender, we're getting these projects starting in the fall. Plus, we're not getting the prices we could get. So I'm wondering if we can have a schedule that sets the capital budget to be passed. Ideally, it'd be nice to have it passed by December, but say January. Because I know it's in October now, but the capital doesn't usually take that long. It'd be nice to get that addressed and out of the way.
Yeah, so through to Councilor Bernard, so in the draft timeline that's included with the package, we do have an estimated date for capital budget.
I didn't see that. Is that okay? I didn't see that in this package, but anyway.
Yeah,
I
so
missed it. Go ahead.
so it's in early February. Let me know if you don't see it there, but it's about the third or fourth line down from the bottom if you see the chart for the timelines. So we're looking at February 2nd, the weeks of February 2nd and 9th, like early February, to get that approved. And then the intent there is obviously if we have council support to proceed with that capital budget, we do our analysis on amortization and borrowing costs, ensure that gets incorporated
cost
into
and
the
operation.
operating budget. But it allows a little bit of additional time for the departments to go out for the tendering or whatever they need to do.
So the province usually sends their tenders out in January, February, do they not? For the upcoming year, which they usually get ahead of us. That's what I'm trying to get, is to get at least the same timeline.
Yeah, so the province, their capital budget gets tabled in November and gets approved, depending on how long they go. Typically, it's by the end of November into early December. They start their process, as I know this from experience, in the spring,
Yeah,
like in June.
Yeah.
So,
So-
sorry, go ahead.
So could we not get on the same schedule? Because our fiscal year ends the same time.
It's a lot of work, Councillor Bernard. It's a,
It would be a separate exercise and basically we would have to,
Yeah.
like as soon as we close the page on the budget exercise for 26-27, like
End of
come
March 31st.
April, May, you'd have to start it would be an entirely separate process in my mind if we wanted to do it that way.
So how does the province do it?
So the province, just my general recollection from timelines is they actually submit the call or departments start working on, I know my experience with health, we started working like almost in April, May, get the documents together, send them out to the departments. We would ask for them back in July into August, and we prepare for submission into September.
But you're talking just capital?
Just
Elaine, you're
capital.
talking operational.
We're talking just capital.
So they're a lot bigger than us.
and
They have
and
a much bigger budget. So can we not, it doesn't have to be this year, but can we not move towards getting the capital budget passed by November? We've done it before.
when did we last do it, Terry? In November?
When I was chair of finance.
I think one of the considerations too is always, about federal funding and how that couples with big capital projects and what's available. Like, I'm sure that must be a consideration for the province, Lane, how federal funding trickles down to support big capital projects.
Well, but Mr. Chair, we all also have to keep in mind, provincial and federal governments can deficit finance. So what they incur under capital, the amortization, the debt payment, that can just float into their deficit budgeting. We're not allowed a deficit budget. And I'm not suggesting that we go down that avenue, but I think they're two different systems. But we both do the same, operational and capital, but there's more fiscal leverage at the provincial and federal level because they can deficit budget.
Yeah, but when we do our capital, Your Worship, we usually know what our 5-year plan is. We usually know how much that we budget for capital expenditures. It shouldn't be that difficult. Anyway, I mean, even February is better than the past.
Yeah,
But
oh
I
yeah.
just think that we
I
could,
agree.
anyway, that's fine.
Can I just ask, Mr. Chair, so Sherry, is she coming from the private sector?
Correct.
And did she work with a company locally, regionally?
BioVectra.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
In various procurement roles, so she's got
Okay.
some good experience.
And Isaac Uwea? Ua.
Yeah,
So from Ghana, from what?
correct.
Oh, it's Ghanaian. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, like it.
So then, just so I'm clear, so.
Go ahead, Councillor Burke.
Just so I'm clear, Elaine, so we're looking to pass the capital budget in early February or towards the end of February?
The first 2 weeks of February is what we have slotted in our calendar.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Does that conclude updates? Okay, thank you, Lane. Yeah, okay, number 7, introduction of new business.
No, just the statements on page 55.
Yep.
Lane, everything is looking, again, pretty good.
Yep.
And I'm just looking at, and that's for both utility and city core. Okay? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Number 7, introduction of new business. Not seeing any. Just before I go to adjournment, I just want to share, I mean, I think it's great, the hiring of the procurement officers coming in at perfect timing with the procurement bylaw and the discussion we're gonna be having around it. It'll be launched, she'll be here to kind of, shepherd through its operation, so it's, it's great. I just wanna share, and I've shared this with staff and CAO, and I'm gonna be absent as Chair of Finance during the dates November 2nd to November 17th.
Where are you going now?
I'll be traveling, so I've arranged and Councillor Bernard has agreed to chair finance in my absence, and I'd like to thank him for that. And the rest of the committee, I think, will be able to handle the finance agenda in my absence, so just want to share that.
Can you take us back a little gift from wherever you're going?
Yeah.
What? Pauline, a little
All
trinket?
right, number 8, adjournment. Motion, Councillor or Mayor Brown, second of Councillor Bernard.
Yep, yep.
So adjourned, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.